Diamonds, the one gem more famous than all the others. Most girls fantasize about their dream wedding as a child, complete with a nice sparkly diamond ring. After all, diamonds are a girl's best friend.
Diamonds are a girl's best friend. Diamonds are a girl's best friend.
Except for the fact that diamonds are a complete and major scam. Diamonds are as rare as the rocks that you see next to the sidewalk along your neighborhood. And they weren't really a thing until the 1940s. So how did they become so popular and so expensive? Since they're now a symbol of marriage, let's start with the short history of engagements. The tradition of rings dates back about 4,800 years in ancient Egypt. As masters of symbolism, the endless circle was a symbol of eternity, and the whole of the ring was a symbol of the doorway to the future. They also believed the fourth finger had a vein that led straight to the heart, thus being the first to put a ring on the finger as a symbol of true love. At the time, the rings were made out of braided vegetation like papyrus and reeds. Later on, the Romans adopted rings but used iron and gold instead. It wasn't until 1477 for the first recorded diamond engagement ring when Archduke Maximilian of Austria asked Mary of Burgundy to marry him. Thus begins the story of diamonds. At the time, diamonds were extremely rare and expensive, even for the rich. Discovered only in India at the time, they were retrieved from streams and rivers. At first, they were only reserved for India's wealthiest, but eventually they were traded across the world, all the way to Western Europe. By the early 1700s, the diamond supply in India was dwindling. At the same time, Brazil became a major contributor to the world's diamond supply. When miners were digging in the local rivers of Brazil for gold, they came across diamonds instead. After this discovery, Brazil went on to become a leader in the diamond industry for over 150 years. In the 1860s, huge diamond deposits were discovered in South Africa by explorers. This is what many consider to be a pivotal moment in the history of diamonds. There were so many diamonds that they were no longer a rarity. Everyone on Earth could own a diamond if they wanted, but very few people knew this. By the year 1900, the mines in South Africa controlled roughly 90% of the entire world's production of diamonds and were owned by one company, De Beers. The founder, an entrepreneur named Cecil Rhodes, rose to prominence by renting water pumps to miners during the diamond rush in 1869. In 1871, he invested the profits into buying a claim of the De Beers mine, named after two Dutch settlers who used to own the farm connected to the mine. After securing more funding from the very wealthy Rothschild family, he was able to expand his business and buy the claims to all of the mines in the country. In 1888, Rhodes partnered with a man named Barry Barnado, who had one of the largest mining companies at the time, and De Beers Consolidated Mines was officially formed. They went on to create something called the Diamond Syndicate a few years later. This was basically a board of directors for the entire diamond industry, whose policy was to keep the price of diamonds, especially those used for jewelry, as high as possible under any and all conditions. And thus, the first diamond cartel was born. Having access to all the mines, they controlled the supply, demand, as well as the prices for 90% of the diamonds. Unfortunately, demand was slowing down, and diamond prices were starting to fall at this point. With ridiculous amounts of diamonds at their disposal, De Beers had to find a way to sell them. Up till the late 1800s, diamonds were mostly worn as jewelry. Opals, rubies, sapphires, and turquoise were used for engagement rings and were deemed much more exotic gems to give as tokens of love. In the 1940s, N.W. Ayer & Son, a marketing agency hired by De Beers, created a slogan that would change the world forever. Diamonds are forever.
A diamond is forever.
A diamond
is forever.
Is forever.
A diamond is forever.com.
This marketed the idea that diamonds are a sign of your devotion and were the ultimate status symbol. The ad made men believe diamonds were the only way to show your love to a woman, and that they should be at least 2 months worth of salary.
The diamond engagement ring. How else could 2 months' salary last forever?
Women believed the bigger the diamond, the bigger a man's love for you. And with ads showing celebrities wearing diamonds, anyone who was anyone would obviously have a diamond on their finger. The ad was a home run success. It worked so well that they expanded the ad into Japan, which at the time, most marriages were arranged, meaning they didn't actually need an engagement ring. De Beers convinced them that they needed a ring after marriage to show their love, and that diamonds made them as trendy as modern Western women. These ads worked just as well in Japan as they did in the United States. Later, they created ads telling customers to hold on to their family's diamond rings and jewelry, and to cherish them as heirlooms. This prevented them from selling their diamonds back to the jewelers or to others, and caused consumers to only want new diamonds. These ads were run all the way up until 2011, close to the present day. But at this point, diamonds are already deeply established into our culture. especially as part of weddings and marriage. With pop culture influencing us as well, it's easy to get caught up in the glamour and status of diamonds. But the truth is, there is a dark side to diamonds you may or may not have heard before. Blood diamonds, also known as conflict diamonds. These are named due to the blood that's shed to obtain them. These are diamonds that were stolen or illegally mined in a war zone, and they're usually sold to finance things like war efforts and terrorism. Men, women, and children are forced to dig for diamonds in order to buy weapons for rebel militia groups. Anyone who protests is either killed or threatened by having one of their limbs cut off. Blood diamonds are then smuggled into the diamond trade along with legitimate diamonds. Although many diamond retailers mention their diamonds are ethically sourced, it's virtually impossible to prove so. The Kimberley Process Certification Scheme was established to monitor and certify diamonds throughout the entire production process, but there's plenty of loopholes to get them through. It's called a scheme for a reason. Child labor is also a huge issue relating to diamonds. Children are given the smallest stones to work with, as their eyes and fingers are better suited for seeing and shaping tiny uncut gems. This can result in severe eye strain and lung infections from inhaling diamond dust. And of course, De Beers is responsible and in charge of many areas where these so-called blood diamonds are mined. Diamonds that come from certain areas of the world such as Zimbabwe, Angola, Liberia, and the Democratic Republic of Congo are very likely to be blood diamonds. Canada, Namibia, and Botswana are the only 3 countries where labor and environmental standards are regularly enforced. Any other country, all bets are off. Even though these few countries have enforced standards, that doesn't stop them from smuggling. The more organizations try to legitimize diamonds, the more the smuggling happens. Here are some quotes directly from a diamond smuggler. "It is very easy to smuggle a diamond. You can put it in your hem or on your body. They try to catch the smugglers, but they can't. An investor will come to buy them. They don't pay any tax, nor do we. Investors want diamonds without papers. When you have no papers, you get a higher price for the diamonds. If they catch you, they take you to the police station, and if you are guilty, you pay a fine. But you can negotiate it with the police. It's worth it to steal." Imagine working in a third world country where you make more money selling to third parties than just working your actual job. And the risk is almost non-existent unless you work for a big mining company. This is why no matter what rules or certifications are in place, diamonds will always be stolen and blood diamonds will continue. As far as the clean upfront business side goes, the biggest competitors now are synthetic diamonds. Cubic zirconia, moissanite, and lab-grown diamonds are the only ways to guarantee your diamonds are 100% conflict-free. Cubic zirconia, or more commonly known as CZ, is a lab-grown gem that has been on the market since 1976. Though not as hard as a diamond, they're compositionally superior with a greater brilliance and sparkle and are completely colorless. Most consumers agree they look almost too perfect. Because of this, manufacturers have started producing them with tints and inclusions to look more like actual diamonds. The next gem, moissanite, became available in 1998. These are harder than CZ and look more like diamonds in composition and appearance, but have a natural yellow or green tint to them. And finally, lab-grown diamonds. The Gemological Institute of America, also known as the GIA, recognizes these as real diamonds from a compositional perspective.
Almost no differences between lab-grown diamonds and mined diamonds. One is just manufactured and the other one comes from the earth.
Made of pure carbon, labs simulate the exact same heat and pressure as the Earth's mantle and only take days to create versus millions of years like the naturally occurring ones. These sell for about 30% less than a natural diamond and cost even less if you want one in a shade of pink, blue, yellow, or orange. The only challenge is finding one larger than 1 carat, but if you're okay with that, no one would even be able to know it's not a natural diamond. Even jewelers have a hard time distinguishing lab-grown diamonds versus natural diamonds. Because of this, to prevent retailers from passing off the lab-grown diamonds as natural ones, the GIA sells machines that can differentiate between the two. Guess who the developer behind this machine is? Of course, De Beers. That's it for this video, guys. Thanks for watching and let me know what you think in the comments down below.